A dark path chosen. As you have seen, clan cats are part of something bigger than ourselves, and that ensures we are as strong as our strongest warrior when trouble comes. But come see what can happen if this part of the warrior code is ignored. Longtail winced as a cold drop of water splashed onto his neck. The den is leaking again, he complained to Darkstripe, who was curled up beside him. Darkstripe opened one yellow eye. Better tell Redtail, he murmured. He'll have to organize the cat to fix it before we drown in our sleep. Longtail slid out of his nest, shivering as the bead of water rolled down his back and pushed his way into the clearing. Leafall was giving way to Leaf Bear, and the sky was flat and gray like water. Longtail picked his way over the cleft in the rock, where he could hear Redtail, the ThunderClan deputy, speaking quietly with Bluestar. His words were punctuated with coughs that racked through the warrior's body, and left him breathless. The clan was fighting off Graincough, and Redtail had only just emerged from the medicine cast's den where he had been treated. We need to send out a hunting patrol, he wheezed to Bluestar. The fresh kill pile was ruined by last night's rain, and the sick cats won't get any better if they're weak with hunger. Very well, but only send out healthy cats, Bluestar warned. Which means you stay here, Redtail. The deputy started to argue, but he was interrupted by another bout of coughing. Longtail, a tortoiseshell and white she-cat, her pelt dappled like a glade in Greenleaf, was calling him from the shelter of a clump of ferns. Longtail changed direction to join her. What's up, Spottyleaf? Has Redtail organized any hunting patrols yet? The medicine cat's eyes were dark with worry. I can't help sick cats when they're so hungry. I know hunting is hard in this weather, but we have to find them something to eat. Her bones shifted under her pelt as she moved, and Longtail guessed that Spottyleaf had been giving up her own share of fresh kill to the cats she was trying to heal. I think he's just about to send one out, he told her. Good, let's hope they come back quickly. Poppy Dawn is hardly strong enough to eat the catmint. Longtail peered past her into the ferns, where he could just make out the dark red fur of the sick elder. Poppy Dawn told good stories and was popular with all the kits in the clan because she let them chase her tail, which was as thick as a fox's. Redtail nodded to Longtail, flicking drops of water from his feathered ears. Are you free to go on a hunting patrol? Yes, Longtail replied. Good, take Darkstripe with you. Try some snake rocks. There might be some prey sheltering there. You shouldn't find any snakes at this time of year, but don't go too deep into the caves. At least Darkstripe won't order me around, Longtail thought as he squeezed back into the warrior's den. In spite of the leaky roof, Darkstripe had gone back to sleep. Longtail prodded him with his paw. Wake up, we've got to go on a patrol. Darkstripe raised his head and stared at him. Blearily, in this weather, you must be crazy. Did you tell Redtail that the roof needs fixing? I didn't get the chance, Longtail confessed. Come on, it's just us. Redtail suggested we try some snake rocks. Great, Darkstripe grumbled, heaving himself to his paws. I can either drown or get bitten, but for the sake of my clan. It's not raining that hard, Longtail pointed out as they headed for the tunnel that led out of the camp. It's mostly just water being shaken from the trees. Is that supposed to make me feel better? Darkstripe muttered, but he sprang gracefully up the rocks that littered the side of the ravine and reached the top before Longtail. The rain kept two legs on their dogs out of the woods, so the warriors had a clear run all the way to Snake Rocks. Longtail shivered. Even if the snakes had gone for the cold season, this place still made him nervous. Darkstripe skirted the edge of the trees, sniffing at the dead bracken. I'm starving, he meowed. We'd better catch something. I haven't found anything good on the fresh kill pile for days. Longtail headed for the pile of rocks, telling himself that he wouldn't go into the caves at all, not even a little way. His whiskers trembled as he picked up the scent of squirrel at the foot of the rocks. The trail led behind the stones and a little way into a clump of brambles. Crouching low, Longtail stepped paw by paw under the thorns. There was a patch of gray fur just visible through the tendrils. He gathered his haunches under him, wriggled to get his balance, then sprang. Blasting his way through the brambles, he landed squarely on the squirrel, muttering a prayer to StarClan and spitting out leaves. Longtail backed out of the thicket, dragging his fresh kill. Good catch! Darkstripe was standing right behind him, making Longtail jump. black-striped warrior padded forward, sniffing appreciatively. The squirrel's fluffy gray fur rippled under his breath. Dark-striped glanced over his shoulder. "This won't taste nearly as good once we've hauled it back to the camp." Longtail shrugged. "We should catch something else quickly. Then it'll still be fresh." "But it won't be as fresh as it is now." Darkstripe looked back at the squirrel. "And we'll hunt much better after a decent meal. The warrior code says we can't hunt until the elders and kits have been fed," Longtail reminded him. His pelt was starting to prickle, as if ants were crawling through it. "How will any cat know?" Darkstripe murmured. He narrowed his eyes until they were tiny amber slits. "You won't tell, will you?" His voice was barely a whisper. Longtail could hardly hear him. I... Darkstripe opened his jaws and sank his teeth into the squirrel without taking his eyes off Longtail. He chewed slowly, releasing the tempting smell of warm, plump meat. "We're as hungry as the rest of the clan, and we need our strength to hunt. It makes no sense to let the warriors starve when they have to look after every other cat. I caught the squirrel easily. We'll catch plenty more." Longtail bent his head and bit into the fresh kill. Above him a cold wind rattled the trees, and the rocks loomed grey and silent against the heavy sky. Pelting rain made the sides of the ravine slippery, and the cats picked their way carefully down, their catch gripped in their mouths. Longtail had been lucky with the squirrel. Prey had been much harder to find after that, and all they brought were 2 mice and an old, tough-looking blackbird. Neither cat looked each other in the eye as they dragged their fresh kill over the muddy ground to the gorse tunnel. Darkstripe hung back, forcing himself to go first. The thorns seemed sharper against his pelt than before, and a feather from the blackbird had worked its way into his throat, making him choke and splutter through his mouthful. He pushed his way into the clearing and looked around, expecting to see a row of hungry cats waiting by the fresh kill pile. The clearing was empty, the ground shiny and bouncing with raindrops. Darkstripe joined Longtail, and they stood side by side with their catch by their paws. Before either of them could speak, a wail rose from the ferns around Spotted Leaf's den. "Puppy Dawn, no! Don't leave me!" It was Rosetail, her daughter. "It is your time to join Star Clan. Our warrior ancestors are waiting for her." That was Spotted Leaf, her voice muffled by grief. Longtail looked at Darkstripe, feeling a wave of panic rise inside him. "We're too late! Puppy Dawn is dead. Spotted Leaf said she needed to eat in order to fight the sickness, but we didn't come back in time. We should never have eaten that squirrel." "Shut up!" Darkstripe hissed. "What's the matter with you? Puppy Dawn was going to die anyway. We should let the old useless cats go if it means the warriors survive. The clan depends on us now, not them." "We killed her." "We did not. Greencough killed her. She was old and weak. We are the important cats. We should eat first. You want to do what's best for your clan?" "Of course." "Then you'll keep your mouth shut and let your clanmates be grateful for what we brought back. There's one fewer mouth to feed now. Why spoil everything by trying to blame yourself for Puppy Dawn?" "Our Puppy Dawn might still be alive if we'd come back earlier, if we had come back with the squirrel." Darkstripe was peering at Longtail, as if he could read his thoughts. "You'll keep quiet, won't you?" he hissed, and this time there was a hint of menace behind his eyes. "After all, I saw you eat that squirrel. I'll tell them what you did, and how you insisted on stealing prey from the elders, how you refused to let me bring it back to the camp." A hard, cold lump froze inside Longtail. "There's nothing to tell," he growled back. "We were sent to hunt for prey, and that's what we've done. No other warrior could have done better." As he bent his head to pick up the blackbird and carry it to the fresh kill pile, a waft of warm air ruffled his fur, and a familiar scent brushed over him. Longtail lifted his head in horror. "Puppy Dawn, I'm so sorry." "Too late," came the silent reply. "Too late."